Kyle Cefalo, he's the wide receivers coach and passing game coordinator. And first, coach, just you're a guy you played at Colorado. You spent some time at Boise State. You're familiar with the Mountain West. Just what's it like being back in this area for you?
I love it. I've been fortunate enough. I've kind of lived on each coast. I've lived in the mountains. I've lived in the South a little bit, and but from high school and college, this is kind of the atmosphere that I'm used to, and the mountains and the outdoors and the skiing and different things like that, and the fly fishing. So when I actually do have time off, I'm literally a kid in the candy store out here. So I love the weather. I love the mountains and the environment, and I'm very blessed to be back here.
You already got your favorite spots picked out on the rivers?
Oh, absolutely, I do. I'm not going to tell anyone, but I've done some scoping, and I found a couple of spots that I love. So it's been anytime you can leave your door and be somewhere fly fishing in 20 minutes, you can't beat it. That's something I just love to do.
So you've been in places where you've been able to coach conference offensive players of the year, wide receivers, different spots, a couple different times. What's your assessment of the wide receiver core here at Utah State, and how are they coming along?
They're coming along really, really well. It kind of started in the spring, first really just getting to know each other, learning a brand new offense. And the most important part of that to me is just building a relationship with the kids and individually trying to work on that. Because, I am their new wide receivers coach, and I kind of just show up one day, and now they have to listen to what I say, and we have to we have to work really well together. So I take a lot of pride in that, and I think it's really important that as we're building with football and as a wideout and technically and fundamentally getting to know one another and knowing how to teach and coach people, whether it's the same or a little bit different for different guys. Different guys might need different things. That's the most important thing for me. And as we've progressed, that part of it's been phenomenal. I love the room. Some great kids, some hardworking kids, and some really competitive, talented kids too. And I think throughout fall camp, we've shown that one day it's one kid, and the next day it's the other guy, and the really good depth that's being developed in the room right now. And I think there's a lot of talent. There's still a ton of work to do, and there's a ton of room to grow individually, and they're working on different things. But I couldn't be more pleased at this point.
You've got some veterans, some guys like Jordan Nathan, who started as many games as anybody on this roster, and Scarver, who's played in as many games as anybody else. But then you've also got some guys that are new to this program, like Brandon Bowling, who you're familiar with, but still it's a new environment for him. How's that been working, just mixing everybody together? I mean, they're all new to you, you're new to them, but how's it kind of coming together at this point?
I think it's coming together really well. Like you said, we have some experience, we have some leadership. Jordan Nathan is a guy that he does take on a really good leadership role in the room, and when he speaks up and he has the courage to do so, people listen and they respond to him. So I respect that, and it can't always be me talking up there. Sometimes they have to get involved and take over and take control sometimes. So to have guys like him and Savon Scarver and Devin Tompkins and Brandon Bowling, who's played a lot of football just in a different uniform. So I think having that experience mixed with some new kids, mixed with some young kids, it's been really good so far. I've been really enjoying it.
And so one of those young guys who certainly showed out on Saturday was Kyle Van Leeuwen. Coach Anderson very high on him, that he's been practicing really well, putting in the time. And some of these younger guys also, they're fighting for time too, and looks like they're going to get some.
Yeah, no, Kyle Van Leeuwen, I mean, really since the spring and then every day in fall camp, he's been consistent and very productive, and it's just hard to argue with a kid that shows up every day, always has a smile on his face, just a great kid to be around, takes coaching really well, knows where he needs to improve and really works on that. But even when he maybe makes a mistake, he seems to end up with the football in his hand in the back of the end zone. So been just so proud of him. And then the true freshman Nana Davis from Alabama has come in, and he kind of has shined in a couple, the first scrimmage especially, and did a really good job. And he can really run. He's really fast. And he's really tough for a little guy, and he's not scared to mix it up and things like that. So there's enough, experience, enough young guys that, like I said, just continuously be pleased with the group.
Do you feel like you've got the right mix of styles of wide receivers that can stretch the field, run different routes as you need?
Yeah, I think we do. I mean, a guy like Justin McGriff, who's 6'5.5", and that presents matchup problems right away. Savon Scarver's, shown his speed and the ability to be dynamic in the kick return game, and I think he continuously can prove that as a wideout as well. And he's done a really good job, and really good depth on the inside with Devin and Brandon and Kyle and Nana to be able to rotate a bunch of guys that can really run. They're all really really smart. They know the playbook. They're learning, and they make tough catches and contested catches. So I like and another kid that can't go unmentioned is Derek Wright. He's been really, really, really productive. He's big. He's strong. Really smart.
And apparently can leap pretty well.
And apparently he can jump over people when he needs to. I think he kind of opened everybody on the staff side with that one. I was like, wow, he really got up there. But another kid that just shows up every day, does his job, and ends up with the football in his hand. So really, really pleased with the balance we've got right now.
And then just lastly, your role as passing game coordinator. Certainly there's a battle going on with the quarterbacks, but how is that developing and just their relationship with your wide receivers?
No, it's been really good. I think it starts with Coach Tucker and I's relationship. He coached me when I was in college. My first GA job was for him at Arkansas State with the wide receivers. We spent time at the University of Maryland together. And honestly, over the past 10 to 12 years, we've become really good friends, and we've always found time to spend time with one another outside of football and different things like that. So I think that relationship, I think it rubs off on the players. I think they know that. I think they know that we enjoy coming to work every day with each other, and the quarterbacks as well, and the wideouts. I mean, it's a really just comfortable relationship. Everyone enjoys themselves, but everyone's working for jobs and everyone wants to compete, and we know that. And in the midst of us enjoying ourselves and enjoying our work, there's like we always say, there's kind of money on the line at all times, and wideouts want the ball and quarterbacks want to be out there. So some really, really healthy competition going on.
Kyle Cefalo, thanks so much, and best of luck leading up to Game 1.
Thank you so much.
Hey, John Gentry, running back for Utah State. And first, John, I want to get your assessment of how things went for the scrimmage on Saturday.
I believe it went very well. We got a lot of things to work on as a team as a whole, and especially as an offense. Making our run fits all right, and our pass game stays lethal. So just growing every day.
The coaches have been pretty clear. They think the offense is going to be running back by committee. There's not going to be one designated guy. You're all going to get some opportunities. How do you feel like you fit into that? And how do you feel like you all kind of complement each other in your different running styles?
I love my running back group. Everybody is kind of a leader, so everybody listens to everybody. We got Calvin Tyler. He got 2 years. We got DAC as an old guy. And then we got me, Fado, and Like as compliments of them. So and Cooper Jones, actually, he's my guy. So we kind of all can get in there and make things happen for our offense. So I think we're trying to be like a running back by committee type of team. So I think we got the right people to do that.
And then how would you describe your specific style and like how you like to do things? Maybe there's some guys are power back, some more speed. Like how would you describe like how you particularly like to run the rock?
I'm kind of I feel like I'm an all-down back, but I just try to do whatever the coach asks me to do, whether it's lining up in the spread and being in empty, or taking inside zones or outside zones, to the field and try to contribute as much as I can and score for us. That's the main thing.
Last year was just weird for a lot of reasons. How do you feel about things are going this time, getting ready for the 2021 football season?
Last year was kind of a blur, so, I feel like this year the team has more grasp of what the coaches want and, what we want. We got a kind of different motivation, and so, everybody loves each other, and we're playing as a team, we're just going to get it done.
So this is a mix of guys that have been here for a while. Guys get to stick around for even longer than normal. But there's also a lot of transfers that have come in. How do you feel like everybody's coming together, and how is it all mixing? I
feel like it's a lot of different personalities. You got kind of subtle guys who are going to lead by example on the field, and then you got the guys who lead with their mouth and show how they're contributing on the field. So I feel like everybody's kind of meshing real good right now, and I think we're going to have a great season.
And then finally, what do you feel like still needs to be worked on or improved before Week 1 at Washington State?
As an offense, I feel like, our tempo has to speed up more because, Coach Tuck, he wants us to go fast. So we're trying to outplay the other team and keep our stamina, as we do that. So we're just trying to move fast and outwork the other team.
John Gentry, thank you so much, and good luck.
Thank you.
Ray Brown's the cornerbacks coach for Utah State University. And, Coach, first I want to get your assessment of the scrimmage that happened on Saturday and how things are developing in fall practices so far.
As far as the scrimmage, a lot of competition. Guys are really fighting to be sound in their fundamentals. They're fighting to compete at a high level. They're meeting the standard that I've set for them, which is a extremely high standard. But it's been really good just to watch those guys compete day in and day out, and be more consistent in their technique and their fundamentals. As far as just practice as a whole, I think there's been great energy, great attention to detail, a group of guys that are driven and motivated to do something special. And so I've been very pleased with the group so far.
You've got a mix of guys who've been here for a little while, Xavier Steele, Zahadri Jackson, but you've also got some other guys who are transfers coming in.
Yes.
How are you mixing some of these new faces with the guys that have already been here for a while and trying to just get the best guys out there?
As far as mixing them, they usually call each other out. And so they say, hey, I want to go against you or go with you. So they've kind of created a different level of competition between the older guys and the new guys. And I think they've done a really good job. As far as trying to mix and match, it's just been trying to find the guys that fit well together, that play well together as far as a comfort level. For me in the secondary, guys have to be comfortable with each other. But I also think that's something that grows off the field just as much as it is on the field. So when you look at the group, I actually looked at them the other night. They were on Instagram and they were all at dinner together spending time, and it's all 9 guys. It's not just a few guys. So for me, I've been really encouraged with the group and the growth as a family, and you can tell it when we play.
How closely are you working with Coach Bonda with the safeties and just generally that conversation about what that secondary overall needs to be doing to properly defend or apply pressure to opposing offenses?
I've been extremely close in working with Coach Bonda. I think Coach Bonda is really intelligent. He knows exactly what he wants to see from a secondary standpoint. So he and I work hand in hand with everything we do. Any ideas that I have, I always take it to him. He may like some, he may not like some. We kind of get together and kind of figure out what works best for the group of guys that we have.
I was talking to Coach Cefalo, and he says that he's a pretty good trash talker, but so are you. And it's probably because your units are going against each other all the time. What do you feel about that being called one of the biggest trash talkers of the coaching staff?
Well, you know, Coach Cefalo and I have gone against each other the last 2 years. So there's a how do I put this kindly? There's a little bit of ego when you look at the two of us. But, you know, Seth is awesome. I think he is a great ball coach. When you look at just what he's done from a production standpoint with the guys that he's coached, it challenges me every day to just be the very best. And so I think between the two of us, we keep something going. We keep our guys energized through our trash talking. But I would definitely say he talks a little more than me.
That's fair enough. So you've been able to kind of see what that wide receiver group looks like. You're hitting them all every day during practice. So from your point of view, what does that wide receiver core look like?
They look like a physical, disciplined group. They have a little ego to them. They play with great energy. They probably talk a little bit of noise. Has to do with their coach starting. But I think it's a great group. Really love going against them, love competing with them. We talk a lot of trash on the field, but the great thing about this team and this group, as soon as we walk off the field, coach blows that last whistle, the secondary's hanging out. They're laughing, they're cracking jokes, and so it's really, really good. I think we got a close-knit team, and you can tell by the culture that coaches inserted in the program.
You spent a season at Washington State as a graduate assistant. What's that like for you preparing for Game 1, a place that you've spent time at?
Just another place that I'm going to, just another opponent. All the guys that I know that I coached with, Mike Leach and all those guys, they're all gone. All the players that I coached there, they're all gone. So it's just another team that I'm looking to compete with and get after.
Well, Coach, wish you the best of luck as you get ready for Game 1.
I appreciate it.
Talking to Hunter Reynolds, getting an idea about the secondary for Utah State University. But before we do that, Hunter, first, what brought you to Utah State? You're one of a pretty good number of transfers who decided to come to Utah State. So what brought you to the Aggies?
When I first entered the portal and Utah State contacted me, I did a little bit of research, see who the defensive coaches were. Saw Coach Bonda was coming over from Miami, and I knew they had a great defense there. And just learning his system, like seeing the system they were running while I was watching film, like kind of throughout the spring, that really enticed me. It looked like a really good system for me and my abilities, and it looked like a system that I knew that would be successful for the entire defense.
You're not the only guy from Michigan to come over here. So did you guys have any conversations about coming together?
So I entered the portal before Phil did, and I made a decision to come here before he did. And he was just asking me questions like, what do you think about the coaching staff? What do you think about Logan, Utah? Because we were still in COVID, obviously, so we didn't have a chance to make a trip out here and kind of visit. So a lot of it was just online research, but he was asking me just a lot of questions. And yes, that kind of, having the opportunity to go to a new environment, but with someone you knew, that kind of appeased both of us, and that's how we both ended up here.
When did you first arrive here in Logan?
Beginning of June.
Okay. So you've been able to be here through the off-season conditioning, everything like that, and then fall camp's going. So how your assessment of how the defense is coming together for Utah State?
I think the defense is coming along really well. I knew when I first got here we were having player-run practices, and I could just tell that a lot of guys knew what they were doing because they were coaching me, and they say the best way to learn something is when you can teach someone else how to do it. So they were teaching me throughout the summer, putting me in a position to where once I got to camp, I knew what I was doing. But more importantly, you could just tell guys were locked in, they were bought in. This is like really important to all of us. I wasn't here last year, but last year wasn't the season that Utah State would have wanted. And you could tell guys like really have a hunger about them, and they want to make sure that this year is the best year possible.
This is a situation where there's guys that get extra years to come back. So there's some guys here who have been here for quite a while, and we've got a mix of guys like you that just have been able to transfer and show up. How's that mix working out between guys that have been in the system for a while and a lot of these new faces?
I think it's working out well. Obviously, you have the guys who have been here, but this is a new coaching staff, so this is kind of a chance for all of us to have a fresh start. These might be different techniques than we did in the past, but you could really tell everyone's trying really hard to make those improvements every day, get 1 degree better, and make sure that we're doing things the way the coaches want us to do them.
And there seems to be a lot of depth and real talent in that secondary for Utah State this year. What's your assessment of how that's working out and how you fit into it?
We're definitely a great group. I think we go, multiple guys deep at each position. We have guys that work hard. We have guys that can run, cover, hit. We're, like I said, we're taking it day by day, trying to just learn the techniques Coach Bonda wants us to do and making sure that we do it to the best of our abilities and that we play hard.
And then finally, just game 1 at Washington State. It's coming up quick. What still needs improvement from your observation?
I think, the little details here and there, we can lock down on them. We're still installing stuff, so making sure that we're just clean on everything, making sure that the stuff that we were doing the first couple of days at camp don't get lost on us, and, we stay locked into those things the way we're locked into whatever we learn today or tomorrow. So just, those little focus points, make sure that we don't make a small mistake that seems minor, but in the grand scheme of things can, cost us a play in a game.
Great. Well, Hunter Reynolds, thanks so much. Thanks for taking some time, and good luck.
Thank you.